Monday. I'm your girl, Jackie O. And y'all, tonight we are going to be talking about all things women's health. And we have our very special guest, Dr. Shawn Johnson. Shawn, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. And guys, y'all know how we do it tonight. How we do it on Motivational Monday. It's all about providing information, resources to help you get to the next level. And so it is also all about you just not taking in the information, but you doing what? Putting some action behind it. Getting off of your what do we say? Your tush. And putting some action behind what we are talking about. So tonight we are talking about women's health, and it is so important. Health in general is important, but we do know that us as women, you know, a lot of times we put our health and our own needs on the back burner. Dr. Johnson and I were just talking about that prior to us coming live. And so we put our lives, everybody before our health, right? And so tonight we want to talk about that, and we want to talk about some of the questions, some of the things that you should be asking your doctor when you go visit your doctor. So I'm going to have Dr. Johnson give us her bio. Tell us a little bit about her, who you are, Shawn, and we are going to get started.
Well, again, thank you for having me. My name is Shawn. I know Jackie because I married one of her wonderful brothers.
Yes.
So I've been a practicing physician since 2000. I got out of medical school in 2008. I have to think about that. I'm actually an orthopedic surgeon by trade, but many of the issues that concern health in general are things that I deal with on a daily basis. Although I may not treat them, I see patients that have these diagnoses, and as a physician, patients ask you everything.
Yeah.
they don't necessarily only ask you about the bones and joints when you're an orthopedist. So it does mean that I have to keep up with and kind of keep my tools sharpened on some other things. So this is actually going to be good for me to talk about some things that I don't necessarily talk about on a daily basis. So yeah, I'm currently working in Southeast Texas and just started a practice there. My population of patients ranges anywhere from baby, toddler, all the way to 100 years old. So since I deal with broken bones and things like that, there's a whole gamut that I see. So hopefully I'll be able to provide you guys with some information that's going to be helpful, and then maybe answer some questions.
All right. That sounds good. Well, we are ready to jump right in. One of the first things, you know, Shawn, and yes, I wanted her to tell y'all that, you know, she's my sister-in-law because she's married to my brother, Chris. But so yeah, she is family. But, you know, again, we talk about just us putting ourselves on the back burner, us not really taking care of ourselves. And we know that there are some things that we can do to prevent some things that are happening. And I do understand some things are hereditary, but there are some preventative measures that we can take. And so one of the first things I want to find out is when we go to the doctor and we go for our annual checkups or whatever that we may be going for, what are some of the things that we should be asking our doctors when we go, instead of just, you know, we answer the normal general questions that they ask us, but are there some other things that we should be trying to find out?
Okay. So one thing people really need to understand is that your need to visit your doctor is going to change as you age. So younger females may not need to go to the doctor as often or as regularly as people as we get older. A lot of times I will tell my patients, and I get a lot of patients that the first doctor they've ever seen is me because they injured themselves and they've been healthy their entire life. so they don't go to the doctor. So I make sure that they understand that even if you don't have a diagnosis, that does not mean those things aren't happening in your body. So I like to, number one, ensure that you establish with the provider. It's very important that you find a provider that you trust, that's open with you, that's willing to listen to you. One thing that women deal with a lot is we get dismissed about a lot of our symptoms, or it's blamed on us hormones, or, it's all in your head, whatever. Those types of things need to be red flags for you when you see your provider. And if you're not getting the attention that you need, I tell my patients, it takes, it's not just the doctor, it's you too. So like you're asking, what questions do you need to ask? Ask questions. Don't just take what they're saying as it is what it is.
Right.
Explore. If you are not comfortable, find another provider. I tell people that all the time. Women tend to feel, we're not as outspoken anyway as men are, for the most part, in general. We feel bad if we go see another doctor, and we've been seeing this doctor all this time. Oh my goodness, she might think, or he might think, and that's not true. You should be your own advocate as a patient.
Right.
So kind of getting back to what you spoke about, what you should be asking. So based on your age group, that's going to drive your questions. So there's a really big push for prevention now. It also is dependent upon your lifestyle, your habits. If you have habits that are not healthy, you're probably going to need to go to the doctor more often. If you have habits that are healthy, then that's likely going to make you not have to go often. But once you establish with the provider, as far as regular checkups, your provider should tell you, I need to see you back this amount of time, that amount of time, and follow the provider's instructions. If they say, I don't need to see you for a year, you say, okay, well, does that mean everything looks fine? Everything's good? Yes, but it also should include, I don't need to see you for a year, but if anything comes up, make sure you call me. So don't just wait for the year and you are dealing with some new symptoms. Well, I don't go back to the doctor until he told me he needs to see me till next year. Yeah. Well, this is new. So you need to get this evaluated. Always ask. If you're not sure, just ask.
Right.
And don't be upset if your doctor says, I don't know why that's happening to you.
Yeah.
We need to look more into that. That's okay. I admit that to my patients. I'm not sure why that is bothering you, because everything that I've looked at and done and examined, and I can't find it. So be okay with that answer. Some people don't understand how can you not know what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. And I like how you said, just to go back a little bit, to ask the questions and how the doctors do sometimes dismiss, well, it could be this, or, oh, it's probably just stress or hormones, these different things. And so what I've done is you have to keep asking, keep going, like, no, this is not right. Something is not right. Instead of just settling for what they're telling you, you got to keep pushing the envelope and saying, hey, we need to check this out.
Yes, that's very true. You know your body best.
Yeah.
You live with your body 24/7. You see your doctor when you see them, and they see hundreds of people, thousands even. So it is very important to be your own advocate. You have to. And part of that is asking questions. Come to your appointment prepared. Write your questions down as they are coming to you. Because I will tell you, as a provider, one of the worst things is to walk in the room when you have 20 minutes. What am I here? What am I helping you with?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure what it really is. I remember, prepare for your doctor's visits. That's going to help you get more out of your visit as well. It's going to help your doctor get to what you have going on more, more efficiently also. And it's not all about efficiency, but everybody knows that that matters. We knew this started at 7 o'clock. Jacquie said be on at 6:50. I was on at 6:50, so we could start at 7, because everybody has a schedule. Not just your doctor, but you have a schedule. The next patient has a schedule. So it's very important to be prepared for your visit. Know your family history. That can help drive the questions that you have. Know the medicines you take. If you don't know them, write them down and keep them in your wallet or in your bag or in your phone. Everybody has their phone. Write a list, take a picture of it, make it a favorite. Know your allergies, know your family history, if you are able to know that, because that will help your doctor drive certain tests too. If they know that you have a family history of X, and you're starting to become of the age where that is a risk, then they know, oh, we need to be doing colonoscopies earlier. We need to be doing mammograms earlier. There's guidelines out, but those guidelines are not for people that are at increased risks for things. Okay. So those are for healthy people, right? Even healthy people with no prior history of anything should still be getting a colonoscopy at a certain age, mammogram at a certain age, all those types of things. So knowing your history, be prepared with the questions and the symptoms that you're dealing with, so that you can help your doctor help you. Because if you can't tell us, which is another thing that happens, they didn't do anything to help me. Well, did you explain to them? But it's really hard for me to put it in words. Well, how do you expect them to help you? So I would, it's very hard to say what questions to ask when you're there, but you will help your doctor take care of you better by presenting that information to them, at the very beginning, trying to stay with a specific doctor all the time, or at least within that group, so that your records and everything stay there.
Right.
And you're not having to reinvent the wheel with somebody new. Because again, and if you do change doctors, my mom just moved, she's 75. You need to get all of your things from your cardiologist, your internist, and bring them with you. If not, the new doctor's like, I don't know what's been going on.
Yeah.
You may be able to tell them, but you're probably not gonna be able to tell them everything. So being prepared will help your doctor guide you and lead to some additional questions that they may ask you that may trigger, oh yeah, I did have this going on. And I don't think a lot of people don't go to the doctor prepared. They just know, I had an appointment, I'm here.
Yeah. And I think the older you get, as you have mentioned that earlier too, your appointments are different. And then probably more of the questions to ask when you go to the doctor, and be prepared. Because I'm going to tell you, when I was younger and I went to the doctor, I wasn't prepared. I was just like, I don't know. I didn't know any family history. And so that's important too. And you mentioned that several times, that we need to know our family history. We need to have those conversations so we'll know what our family history is. So it will drive doctors to, do the right tests that we need. If there is a history of disease, whatever the history is.
Right.
Answer my next question pretty much is, how important is it for us to have regular checkups? I'm frozen. Oh, okay. Hold on one second. Can you see me now? Can y'all see me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, great. Yeah, I was just told I was frozen. So the question that I was asking is, how important, and you pretty much kind of answered that already though, how important is it for us to have regular checkups?
It's
Really
very important.
Yeah.
It's very important. And a lot of times, if you are consistent, your provider will let you know when you need to come back. They'll tell you. So you don't really have to kind of figure it out, so to speak, when you need to be there.
Right.
But if you have not ever been, you're an adult, you should go at least, get your full annual checkup, like right now, tomorrow. If you've never, it's people that are 50 some years old, never been to the doctor.
Wow.
And they may be absolutely fine, but then again, they may not be, regular checkups are difficult as you get older, as your medical history changes, things like that. You may have to go more often than not, or you may be able to take stretches. And then different places, different subspecialties will require you to come, at different times. Your internist is probably going to want to see you once a year at least. However, if everything's going well and you have a subspecialist, that subspecialist might not need to see you as often, as long as that diagnosis is being managed and maintained.
Right.
And you have a relationship with an internist that can kind of see a flag and go, oh, well, maybe you need to go back and see your cardiologist, or maybe you need to see your nephrologist, or whatnot. So a lot of it will be driven by how old you are, your diagnoses, and then what your provider thinks you need.
Yeah. And that kind of leads us into preventative. And because you talked about too, how important it is for us to talk about that and to have those conversations about preventative. So we know that a lot of things we can prevent. We said that earlier, and some things we can't prevent. But let's talk about the things that we can prevent. We know by seeing our doctor regularly, our primary physician or whatever the specialty doctor is, as well as lifestyle. Let's talk a little bit more about that, like our lifestyles, in order to help prevent some of our diseases.
But like we were saying before, things you can't control, your genes, there's nothing you can do about those. Some of us get dealt a bad hand when it comes to genes. I will say that. It is also difficult to control. I say it's difficult sometimes to control where you are in society, what your living conditions are, what you do and don't have access to in your neighborhood. Those things are very difficult to control. So a lot of times you end up in situations where you are just trying to do what you can with what you have. And unfortunately, some people think, well, if I can't get X, Y, and Z done, I might as well just not do anything. Well, if we don't have a great grocery store that I can walk to, I'll just eat McDonald's every day. Well, that's not necessarily the best alternative. Even if McDonald's is available, if you have to go, make better choices when you go. They've gotten better. Fast food places have gotten a lot better with having different options on the menu, if that's something you have to subject yourself to. Exercise can be done just about anywhere, and it does not have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be at a gym. I will say, if you've not ever exercised before, you probably still want to see your doctor first before you jump into something really rigorous, and be aware of any injuries you've had in the past and things like that. I get a lot of people who just decide, after the new year, they work out, get started. They end up in my office 6 weeks later with something wrong, because they either had never, or didn't realize they had something that may have meant they shouldn't be doing a certain type of exercise. But exercise is free. It's out. I mean, you can go for a walk. You can do body weighted things. You don't have to have weights. Exercise is very important, not just for maintaining your weight, which is overweight and obesity is one of the largest risk factors for most ailments, is being overweight. So it can not only help you with that, it can de-stress you to exercise. It can also keep your bones nice and healthy, because as we get older, our bones get weaker. So exercise. And I think the most part of it is making yourself aware. Like, everybody has the world at their fingertips now, everybody. So if you know that you aren't able to maybe go to Sprouts and get organic, this, that, and the third, or you can't afford it, or you choose not to afford it, because I don't buy organic stuff, it's too expensive. But I also have made other changes that for myself and my family that help us with keeping our carbon intake down, et cetera, et cetera. Only because I got on here and tried to figure out how can I decrease my carbs? Yeah. You know, my family likes potatoes and rice. Yeah. So what can I do to get them to eat something other than potatoes and rice? So I looked that up. Oh, now, mashed cauliflower, rice cauliflower, you know. Oh, okay. Well, we put radishes in our pot roast now instead of those little red tomatoes. I mean, little red potatoes. And everybody was like, oh, these aren't so bad. So you have to do some research. Again, be your own advocate. Look it up, Google it. It is out there to be had. So what did we say? Make healthier decisions, exercise. Don't just throw it all away. Well, I can't eat healthy, so that means I'm not going to exercise. I'm going to smoke. I'm going to drink. I'm going to do this. 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 That's not how it should be. You do what you can with what you have, in two senses. One, if you're not able to, at least do what you can. Mm-hmm. And two, you know, if you are able to do only McDonald's, when you get there, make a better decision. Yeah. About what you're going to get.
Fries.
Right. Get the apple slices.
Yeah. That is true. And you know, when you were saying too about the exercising, I know when I went to the doctor, so like on my dad's side, high cholesterol, it runs. And so one thing my doctor did tell me, because like I was borderline, and she said, okay, not only, like we were saying, make different choices in what we eat, but also exercise, you know, that will also, you know, just kind of help me, and my blood pressure and just different things like that. So yeah, exercising, and like you said, it's free. And you know, I don't do it all the time. I need to, but just to walk.
Me and you both.
Just to walk, you know, up and down the street, you know, when I'm at work, just on the sidewalk for 20 minutes. It's still,
or farther away when you go to the mall and the store.
Exactly.
Use the stairs, you know, all those things you can do and incorporate, you know, all day, that can help you in the long run. I know we talked a lot about prevention, and I mentioned age. So there's a website that is the Women's Preventive Services Initiative. And I actually printed this out, and I'm going to hold it up there so you guys can kind of see that. It lists by age what testing services you should probably be considering. And you know, this is available to everybody. You can you can Google WPSI or Women's Preventative Services Initiative, and you can print this out and put it on your refrigerator or take it with you to your doctor's appointments.
It's WPSI.com or .org.
Let me check right quick. Hold on. I have it pulled up right here.
I'm going to put that in the comment section for everyone.
Okay.
The Women's Preventative Services Initiative.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, because when you ask me about this, again, I'm an orthopedist by trade. So I said, okay, well, I need to bone up on some general medicine because I don't do it all day, every day. So okay. So all of this is available. It's actually Women's Preventative Health.org.
Okay.
And I can, so yeah, if you Google WPSI, it's the first thing that showed up for me.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll definitely put that in our caption, in our description for people to see. So with that being said, when we go to that website, then we will be able to see at what age our teenagers should start going and having their annual pap smears
Right.
and, different things
Yeah.
like that. We'll be able to see that information. Okay, perfect. Let us
Yeah, it
know.
starts at age 13 and it
13,
goes
okay.
through greater than 75 about screening, preventative services for general health, cancer screenings. It has some pregnancy screening things, postpartum things, just things that and that'll help you educate yourself about what you have going on. Now, the one thing I will say is I love the internet, but it needs to be used correctly. So
Yeah.
I send my patients to the internet all the time once we have a diagnosis. The
Okay.
worst thing you can probably do for yourself is Google fever, Google
I know.
whatever. You can't.
Because Dr. Google will have you dead before it's over.
Okay. and all you have is little food poisoning. You have to, so you have to be, it needs to be directed Google searches. So the internet has tons of great information on it, but if you're not sure, you ask your doctor, if I wanted to look this up, what do I look up? And then you go, you read about it on your own, learn some more about it. Then you have more questions. But it's very hard to do a general search for things. So this website though will guide you and has some additional links on it and things like that can help point you in the direction. And it'll also tell you, okay, well, I'm between 40 and 49. I probably should have blood pressure screening. It says it, it has it dotted out right here. But it doesn't, it says I should not necessarily be taking an aspirin every day. That doesn't start until you're 50, unless you have some additional risks, because this is not black and white. Another thing that people have to understand, these are guidelines and they do not count for someone who has a family history of some congenital problem, that is going to make them start needing to have the same type of screening 20 years before you. Like women that whose moms have had breast cancer, the really bad types of breast cancer, they start getting screened early. They get DNA screened, that type of thing. When you don't have a history of that in your family, you can go by the regular guidelines, until something changes, if anything changes. So this is a pretty good.
Good to know. Okay. So we definitely need to make sure we get that. And there was another website that I'm going to also put in the caption for you guys, is the nationalpartnership.org. And that also has some very good information. It talks about, and I know we are running out of time, but it talks about all types of different things. And one of the things was about fibroids. And a stat that it said is that Black women are 3 times more likely to have fibroids than white women. So now we know that could be hereditary, but just real briefly, can you just touch on that a little bit of why Black women may be more likely to have fibroids?
So a couple of different risk factors for fibroids. So first of all, at a baseline, a fibroid is a non-cancerous tumor that develops in the uterus. It's a muscle tumor, but the word tumor means just extra tissue. It doesn't have to be malignant for the name to be cancer, or a tumor, I should say. Cancer, for that matter, doesn't have to be malignant. So again, just knowing what it is that you are dealing with and having some education behind what it is you're dealing with, so you know exactly what to look up. So fibroids, unfortunately, people don't know why people get them for the most part. They are hereditary. So that automatically, there must be something in a Black woman's makeup that makes us more susceptible to them, but it has not been figured out. Now, I will say that risk factors for developing fibroids across the board: obesity, eating red meat, lots of red meat, alcohol, lower vegetable diet than red meat. So if you think about us, and we already know that obesity plagues our race tremendously,
Right.
then that's going to increase our risk, not only of fibroids, but everything across the board that's worse with obesity: high blood pressure, diabetes, kidney disease, heart disease, all those things. Lifestyles, and again, the issue with most of this is that I cannot point to somebody that has every risk factor and say you're going to get fibroids. Mm-hmm. That person may not. They may have every risk factor on the list and may still never get fibroids. Yeah. Versus look at somebody else who has no risk factors, lives healthy, doesn't drink, and they may develop fibroids. So the etiology of it, where they come from, is still kind of like they don't know. They know what it is, they know how to treat it, but where it pops up from is very difficult. But with those knowing those risk factors and looking at our race, we can probably put a few things together that increase our risk for it. But as far as knowing why, that's very difficult. I think a lot of it, though, just like with increases in maternal death amongst Black women, the U.S. has the highest rate of maternal demise out of, I think I read, like 11 of similarly developed countries. Wow. I mean, and Black women have 2 to 3 times more of that. And I think that cycles back to a lot of the things we talked about, things we can control. Mm-hmm. Stop what you're doing, take care of yourself, ask questions. If something doesn't feel right, say something. And if somebody's not listening, say it louder. Yeah. Because a lot of times we get dismissed, or, oh, it can't be that bad. Or, it could, and that can't be the case. And a lot of that, I think, is why we see increased risks of cardiac disease in Black women, horrible breast cancer, maternal death, all those things. People don't listen to us, and we don't push because we don't want to come across that way. But this is you, your body, your health. If it's not right, push until somebody listens.
Push. Yeah, that's good. Y'all, there were so many takeaways. If it's not right, push. We have in the comments, be your own advocate. That was something that we talked about as well, being your own advocate. Let's see what else. Yeah, changing your lifestyle. There are things that we can do and change our lifestyle. So we can't say, you heard Dr. Shawn say she can't afford to buy organic foods, okay, but she can still eat healthy. There's still some changes that she made. Instead of putting potatoes in, she put radishes in. So, those are some things, and I don't like radishes, but hey, listen.
I didn't either. I don't, it was nothing that I ever bought. Yeah. But when you put them in the roast or put them in we put them in the boil that we had, and they soak up all the flavor. They soak up all the flavor. Yeah. Yeah. So because I didn't eat them before either. Yeah. So there's no excuses, guys. There's no excuses. Exercise is free. So I need to get on the wagon my own self, walk every day, 20, 30 minutes, just walk. I got my Fitbit for Mother's Day, so I need to get back on it. Oh, there you go. You have no excuses, for real. So, Dr. Shawn, leave us with some last nuggets that you would like to leave the viewing audience with before we wrap it up. Well, first of all, know that there are some very, very, very good doctors out there who are super concerned about every patient that comes in their office. A lot of times we can get caught up in the day, caught up in the number of people we're seeing. But for the most part, all of us are super concerned, and we take what we can't figure out home with us. And we wake up with it, go to sleep with it. We're people too. So do know that we listen and we accept everything from people, but we're human and people too. So understand that. And it also helps to just, finding the right doctor for you. Like I'm a very straight to the point type of person. A lot of my patients love that. Most of them do. Some of them do not. So if it is not a good fit for you and you don't feel like you are comfortable, then find another doctor so that you can be comfortable talking to them, and they can be, and you're, that they're going to be comfortable talking to you about everything. You don't want to find a doctor that just tells you only the good news.
Right.
It's hard to give bad news, but you have to be able to do it if you're a provider. And you guys have to be able to listen to the bad news and to the reprimands when you come to the doctor. It's our job to tell you all of that. Be prepared. I think if I can, I think I've posted that 5,000 times since I've been a provider. You guys, when you get ready to go to the doctor, have your information together so that we can help you, get the most out of the visit and try to help you fix your problem quicker. And I say quicker because it really does. It does boil down to that. Seconds turn to minutes, minutes turn to hours.
Yeah.
When you're waiting in the waiting room and your doctor is running 30 minutes behind.
Yeah.
Most people think, oh, they must be back there, whatever. No, usually we're in a room with somebody trying to put it all together, So come prepared, ask questions, go somewhere else if you have to. Don't get caught up in maybe hurting that doctor's feelings or whatnot, because again, you only have one you, and they have 1,000 patients, but there's only one you. So if you're not getting what you need to find the place to get it from.
Okay, that sounds great. All right, guys, I hope y'all took notes. But we will be putting this information, especially the websites. We are going to be putting these in the caption, in the description, so you can go back and you can reference it. And thank you again, Dr. Shawn Johnson, for being here with us today, taking time out of your schedule. We really appreciate it. And so, guys, I'm not going to repeat because y'all have already heard it. Y'all make sure that you share this information so that people can watch the replay. Information, and we want to be healthy. We want to be healthy, and we want to do the things that we need to do to prevent different things, different diseases, and have good health. So again, thank you so much. And so, guys, we will be back next week for Motivational Monday. We're having a double whammy. So I'm super, super excited. We're having a double whammy. We will be on Monday, the 17th. And we will have Niecy Dixon. She has a girls mentorship organization. I am super excited. I've known Niecy for some years, and she's just doing some awesome things with young girls. And then on Tuesday, the 18th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, we will have Dr. Tiffany Winston. Tiffany will be coming to us all the way from Germany. So I'm super excited. We're just going to be having a camera conversation with a mom with 3 little boys and a husband, and she works in the ER in Germany. She's in the Air Force. I mean, she got it going on. So we're just going to talk to her about being a mom, juggling all of those balls in the air. So we have a double whammy next week. So we hope you guys tune in for the 17th and the 18th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time here live on Facebook at the Jacquie O Project. We pray that you have an amazing week. And again, thank you, Dr. Shawn, and we will see you guys next week. Bye-bye. And thank you everyone on Facebook that was watching. They said it's great information, very informative. Thank you for sharing to your pages, and thank you for participating in the comments. All right, good night, everybody. All right. Thank you, Shawn.
You're welcome.
That was good. That was good. So I'm going to, within the next 30 minutes, I normally just send out an email that has the link to it, you know, so
Okay.
if you want to go back, you want to share it. And then just a thank you email. So, you know, you can be on the lookout for that. I'll send it within the next 30 minutes. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Well, tell
I'm gonna
everybody
go pick up my family.
Yeah.
I will. It took Breezy to my mom and Chris took Brienne to Stephen F. Austin today to tour while I was at work. Yeah, so they're back by now, but they took my mom because they took my mom's car.
Okay.
And so I'm going to go get them from my mom's.
Oh, okay. Well, yes, tell them, hey, so that's where she's thinking about going to school.
She is thinking there tomorrow. There's Sam only is having virtual tours. So we're doing a virtual tour tomorrow with Sam. Those are the only two right now that we have set up for tours. We're just trying to get out of junior year.
Girl, who you telling? I got 1 more, 30 more years. Like, let me get out of here.
Yeah, so
I know.
but yeah, at least she just figured out last week that she wanted to do these two. I was like, okay, well, let's get it together. So they did a down and back. So they're back now.
Okay. Well, yeah, tell them we said hello and we will holler at y'all later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye.